How to deal with an emotionally unstable woman. Is the woman you're dating kind of crazy and she's constantly pulling you into her emotional roller coasters? You love this woman and she loves you, but she's making you go crazy. Men, I want to point out that there's a difference between a woman who's truly emotionally unstable versus a woman who truly just has her moments from time to time. And I really don't want you to be confused about these two concepts. But the key is, one is toxic, and number two is there's solutions for it. There's genuinely something that you can work on in order for you to build a good and healthy, stable relationship with the woman that is just a little bit unstable when she has her moments, okay? So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to spot the differences between a toxic, emotionally unstable woman versus a woman who just has her moments from time to time, and what you can do in order to fix some of these problems. Hi everyone, I'm Christy, registered psychotherapist and founder of Mental Health Institute. Welcome to this platform, this community of men that I'm trying to grow and form in order to fight against the toxic changes of modern dating, modern mental health, and the daily struggles when it comes to men's mental health. If you do a quick Google check, there's not enough women even supporting men's mental health. Really convenient, isn't it, right? It's like an inconvenient truth that a lot of women don't even realize that there are men struggling with mental health. And this is why I built this platform, so that you men can start talking about supporting each other, creating a community so that we can solve and create more solutions for your everyday struggles when it comes to your mental health and your roles as a man. I know relationships are probably one of the biggest struggles in your mental health, because everyday life, there are solutions, there are logical solutions, there are hardships and pain, but as long as you can get through that, there's an end goal of success. When it comes to women, it's not that easy. Okay, so I understand. This is why I built this platform. I really want to focus on science-based theories and modern tactics in which we can close the gap between men and women and creating skills that actually work. Let's go through some red flags that show you that she is just either really toxic or she is just having her moments. And there's one extremely important factor that you have to look out for, and it's really very simple. When you ask her if she's committed to finding a solution, even though it's hard to find a solution, if there was a solution, is she committed to trying to find it, or is she committed into the relationship? If she doesn't want to, she's not committed to working on trying to find a solution or committed to the relationship, she is emotionally unstable in a very toxic way. Why? Because she's not willing to work for and earn her part in the relationship, in the health of the relationship. However, if she's just having a moment and you ask her if she's committed to finding a solution, if there was one magically, right? You guys can both be on the same page somehow. And she said she is willing to. She's just having her moments, but she's still committed to finding a solution. Great, right? And disclaimer, guys, a lot of men make the mistake of asking a woman this question at the wrong time, when she is either having her moments or extremely unstable with her emotions. So don't be asking this question when times are heated, you guys are throwing things at each other or breaking things or really just having a heated argument. Don't ask her if she's committed, because most of the times people say things when they're having their moments or unstable that they kind of regret near the end, okay? So when things have calmed down and you really find a moment of peace amongst the storm, okay? Before you try to solve any problems or find solutions or negotiate any terms of trying to understand each other's needs, just ask her a very simple question of commitment, okay? And you will see that her answer will reveal essentially whether or not you should keep investing into this relationship, or if she's toxic, or if she's essentially just someone who is having her moments. This brings me to my second point, okay? Why? Because you have a hard time, even if a woman, okay, is essentially telling you she's committed to finding a solution, you don't believe her. Okay, so how do you tell if she is being truthful or not? So the first problem is she's either told you that she's committed to working on the relationship when you ask her, but she doesn't actually do any work afterwards. Her behaviors aren't matching with her words of commitment. Or you may be dealing with a woman who was extremely invested in the relationship in the beginning of the relationship. She was showing you all the right signs. She was calm. She was understanding. She was able to be logical when things were heated, or even afterwards. She had great negotiating skills. Now she's withholding all of that behavior, all of that good behavior that she showed. And she's essentially shut down and shut you out, giving you really short answers to your requests, and every conversation that the both of you have is essentially around obligations or topics about your daily routine. Who's gonna walk the dog? Who's gonna take the garbage out? Who's going to drive the kids to school? So she's either shut you out, or now she's just constantly attacking you, and every little thing seems to trigger her. And once she was never like that, but you know deep down, you know, and only you know the truth, she still genuinely really cares about you, but her actions in the long run still isn't matching with feelings that she has for you, or that commitment that you know for a fact she still really wants if there was a solution for the both of you. Being in this position for either of you is one of the most heartbreaking, frustrating, resentment-filled moments that anyone can be dealing with. Almost like you have two people who genuinely really care about each other, but you've grown so completely full of resentment that you can no longer, or even no longer want to show each other the good behaviors, because you both have each other's throat. Okay, and so this brings me to my third point. Okay, and the third point will really only work for people who, again, have the commitment, but essentially the actions are just being missed now. She's committed to you when you ask that question if she's committed, but now her actions aren't showing, so you're starting to think that she's lying to you, or that she's not being truthful, or that her words and actions aren't matching. Okay, but you know deep down she genuinely still cares for you, but that you guys are both just really tired and burnt out. I have 3 tips for you in this third part of the video to really start diving into what you can do, and you have to be able to reflect on these tips in order for you to decipher what you need to do next. Number 1 is the one that is really hard to understand. The first tip, okay? You have to ask yourself, do you know how to justify her emotions? And if her emotions make you feel like you're under attack as a man? Do her emotions trigger you in a way where you start pouring more negativity into the situation as well? Now, I'm not saying by any means that you men are responsible for her emotions in any way, but if you guys are having conflict and she's starting to pour behaviors and thoughts and emotions on you that are extremely negative, and it triggers you in a way where you feel under attack and you start pouring negativity into the conversation as well, or the situation as well, and you essentially don't know how to handle her emotions, or worse, you feel attacked so you pour negativity into it, you both will end up pointing each other's resentment as weapons, or protective mechanisms as weapons at each other, and creating a warfare within your own relationship and within your own home. And honestly, at the end, no one wins. So first tip, ask yourself, does her emotions make you feel under attack? Does her complaining, does her nagging at you, criticizing you, insulting you, of course, it is under attack, but does it truly attack your base? Or is it just a sign that the long-term resentment from the both of you has overtaken the conversation? Now, this brings me to my second point, is you have to understand what your weapons. On the internet, there's an influx of information out there teaching men how to be alpha, how to be stoic, how to be masculine. A lot of the times, relationship gurus and even therapists tell you to have really strong, steadfast boundaries, which I do believe is extremely important. However, there's a common misconception, and you need to realize this. By no means am I saying boundaries are not important. It is actually extremely important for men to have boundaries and standards. And I think it's extremely harmful for men not to stay true to that, or else you're going to be constantly disrespected. However, if you have two groups of people, essentially men who are extremely masculine and hold extremely rigid boundaries as to what they should have as a man, and you have women who are extremely strong in their views of how women should behave and what they would not put up with, you essentially have two individuals who are lonelier than ever. And this is many of the times how conflicts are built. It's always about me, negativity. A lot of my clients, before starting therapy with me, mistaken that their boundaries are actually defensive mechanisms for what they once gave out too easily. Okay? Many times your boundaries are not formed in the beginning of the relationship. It's formed after someone either disrespects you or you realize there's a need for a boundary. Although this is an amazing after tactic, or what I call interventive tactic, for men to develop boundaries. So let me explain this a little bit more. How a lot of men mistaken boundaries, but when they're actually defensive mechanisms. I always believe men should hold their masculinity and their need for respect extremely important. However, okay, when you are easily triggered by a woman's emotional state or emotionally unstable moments, okay? When she starts saying demasculating things at you, extremely disrespectful, she starts saying these things during a fight because it's heated, okay? And you go into defensive mechanism mode or boundary mode where you say, I will not accept a woman who says those things to me. And you start looking for all the little clues and evidences that prove that she is a disrespectful woman. That's what your brain will do. That because of this fight, you will start looking for evidence in your relationship and in the fight that prove to you as a man that you have a disrespectful woman. So what that actually does is it's actually starting to use your boundaries. Your boundaries are being used to start triggering more fires, right? You start weaponizing your boundary that she said something to you, and so you're constantly going to tell her she's disrespectful. You're firing shots at her, and it's just going to make it worse. Okay, it's honestly going to make it worse. So boundaries are sometimes used as weapons against your partner. Number 3 brings me to my very last point, and I hope you're following along because these concepts are quite hard to understand, but if you can understand it, you will be able to really develop stronger and more healthier conflicts with the woman that you're with, or if you're not in a relationship, understanding how to feel in control of these emotional triggers that you have when a woman is emotionally unstable. And by no means am I saying her emotions are your responsibility. However, ask yourself, have you mastered your emotions yet? Number 3 probably is a triggering one, because if you haven't mastered your triggers and emotions on your own yet, you can't possibly guide and lead a woman to master her own. So having emotional regulation, understanding the differences between boundaries and weapons, knowing how to prosper a healthy and safe environment in which you guys can both fight and feel safe, revealing each other's hates and resentment and negativity towards each other without it being used against each other. And that you're the leader that understands how to not have a war within your own home, or at least create a war within your own home, can truly make a woman feel a lot safer, secure, and attracted to you and respectful of you as the leader of her own family and her. If you really want to understand how to calm a woman down when there's been constant cycles of fighting, try these 3 tips, because it's extremely important that you work on these 3 tips. Let me know what you reflected on in the comment section. If this brought any new thought that you want me to talk about in the next video, I'm really open to some comments and even criticisms of how you think I should organize these videos next time. Thank you for joining me. Men's mental health is extremely important. If you want to understand how to stabilize your relationship, stabilize an emotionally unstable woman, it's extremely important to work on these 3 tips. And let me know how your journey has started after this video in the comment section below. See you again next time, guys. Bye.
Hi everyone, if you enjoyed our content, don't forget to follow us on TikTok and IG where we post daily, and YouTube where we post weekly.